A Guam police officer once again under investigation.
Could this officer be facing potential charge of destruction of evidence?
That's something that I have to discuss with the General Moylan and his prosecution team, whether or not they feel that this incident rises to the level of a criminal investigation or a criminal case.
KUAM is not releasing the officer's name for now, but safe to say he's no stranger to being placed under the microscope. The incident unfolding last November when the officer with Tumon Precinct Command responded to Tumon Sands Plaza after a suspicious item was found.
And an officer who allegedly found a meth pipe and a baggie of meth, but rather than confiscating that item, tossed it into the jungle. And events kind of played out from there before eventually that evidence was recovered and this officer was investigated. Are you aware of this incident?
Yes, I am aware of that incident, and that case is actively being investigated. I do know that we have conducted analysis of the alleged contraband that was thrown, and there's no evidence that the items that were thrown were controlled substance. It was not a meth pipe, and it was not ice or methamphetamine that was confiscated and thrown away.
What was it?
I'm still waiting for the lab results, but we know for sure that it's not ice.
Police Chief Stephen Ignacio is still waiting for more test results and the outcome of an internal affairs investigation into why the cop did not bag and tag the evidence.
There appears to be some procedural issues that were not followed, and so that case is actually still actively being investigated.
Okay. So never field tested for presumptive positive as in
Right, it wasn't field tested, but we did do a confirmatory test with our lab, and it is not contraband. It is not illegal substance.
The chief says generally the narcotics identification kits are used on scene to verify the substances found. The field tests detect the presence of drugs.
In this case, the officers weren't able to do a field test. So, we're supposed to confiscate the items and turn it in for analysis.
But sources confirm with KUAM that a field test was performed and the results did come back presumptive positive. Now, the officer is being investigated, accused of not doing his duty to protect and serve. It's similar procedures that also brought this same officer into the spotlight after his response to a drunken driving crash at Jerry Kitchen in Tamuning in 2021. Then, the officer was investigated for not conducting a field sobriety test after only issuing a ticket to the driver.
This officer, he's been investigated multiple times over his career. Is this officer still on duty?
Yeah, the officers are still on duty. Had I believe they needed to be placed on leave, I would have done so while the investigation is ongoing. But based on what I do know at this point, the case is still being actively investigated, and we are looking into it.
What did you tell the officer when you found out he discarded potential evidence?
I'm sorry, can I discuss what I discussed with the officers?
But you were able to speak with him about it, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure the policies say you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, and those are the realizations that we have to deal with.
KUAM has learned the officer was handed proposed adverse action, but details have not yet been made public. The case, only one of a handful more recent internal affairs investigations, the force is trying to balance with keeping the island safe.